Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Hammerhead 30-year-old. Comes in at 51.2% ABV. Dustin, what are we drinking?
Mike, we are getting to drink a little bit of history. This is whiskey distilled in the USSR. Not former, because when this was distilled, it was actually the USSR. From my understanding, they were sourcing peat from Scotland. So we are getting a really interesting thing. It's a lightly peated whiskey. I don't know a whole lot about it. I mean, we were talking about, again, whiskey from, before the wall came down here.
Is this Russia?
Well, so it's in modern day Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
But the distillation happened prior to the wall coming down.
Okay.
So this was still USSR at the time.
All right. So the Hammerhead 30-year-old, Czechoslovakia.
This is a single cask, 300 bottles, Mike. I don't know what kind of cask. 300 tells me hogshead or butt of some sort, but we'll get into it.
Let's get to it. I'll tell you what, the ladies from Czechoslovakia are doing quite well on Instagram.
No comment.
Seems to be their strong suit.
There's a few other websites.
Very, this comes off very instantly very sherry cask. Comes off very, very sweet sherry wine to me.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think there could be there's probably sherry. You know what I'm getting, Mike? Which is crazy. I've never said this before, but mint, sherry, and slightly herbal peat.
And it's different.
Weird.
Peat. It's a different peat, for sure.
But it's herbal peat, sherry cask, and I'm telling you, it's rye. I'm getting legit rye whiskey here.
It's a minty vegetable note almost.
Yeah, minty vegetable, 100%.
That's really weird.
But then it's got this really nice, rich sweetness. Those heavy malt characters coming through.
It does. There's something sort of...
There's definitely some oak here. I mean, it is 30 years old. Mm-hmm. So you're out on a pond, and you see like the lily pads, and you see like the honeysuckle. You see the frogs bouncing around. I'm telling you, I'm getting notes from that right here. A little pond water. I don't know.
There's almost something, a twinge of metallic to it as well. Just a twinge. I mean, it's buried behind that sweetness. Yeah,
it does. It has a little bit of lack of refinement that you would not expect on a 30-year-old whiskey.
Seems like it was hit with a hammer if it got out of line.
Maybe the heads on the barrels were steel.
Yes.
Hammerhead.
Yeah. Or they threw a shark head in there. You never know.
I don't know. Yeah. Really rich, bold.
A twinge of flint.
There could be a hint of that. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, it's such a weird thing. Like, I mean, I wasn't even confident to say sherry cask until you said it, just because I wanted to.
I'm fairly confident it is. Yeah, I'm fairly confident.
The color would definitely give you the hint of sherry here.
But you know that sweet sherry smell. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I would think it's Oloroso sherry. That would be my guess.
Yeah, so it's named after the old hammer mill, which was vital for production of hammerheads. Oh, okay, fair enough.
In Czechoslovakia?
Yep.
Sounds like a rough town to be an Instagram influencer in.
Yeah, all you need is a phone, man.
There's a lot of hammers and steel, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
sounds aggressive.
Yeah. Again, one of 300 bottles. It's always interesting.
Even everything here looks like it's metal.
It does. I don't think it is. Actually, it is.
Yeah, it is.
That's not, but yeah, the front is.
Square glass, like the jaws of the men who made it. I mean, okay, so anyway, when you say 30 years, I have a certain expectation as far as refinement and just, some added complexity. I don't care where it was aged. I'm not getting a ton of that here. It does smell like quite a bit younger than a 30-year-old whiskey. However, it does really smell like a decently well-matured Oloroso sherry whiskey with just a twinge of metallic or a twinge of flint to it. Twinge of matchstick, if you will.
Chocolate mint vanilla.
With a mint, yes. That's
if I'm jumping ahead, but I'm ready to the palate band.
Yeah, go for it.
It's chocolate mint vanilla, dude. It's rich, full body. It's a palate killer. It is intense, and I'm telling you, It's straight up that, man. It's mint.
Simplistic in its delivery. Yeah, mint, chocolate.
A little bit of rye bread, maybe.
There is something hearty bread-like to it. I agree. Maybe, yeah, rye bread type of dryness. Maybe some like dusting of some type of nutshell.
Man, so sometimes we talk about the finish, and we talk about how it's like lights up your cheeks and your mouth. This lights up your tongue, man.
It does.
Like
Side
it
of
is, dude. My entire tongue is just like, bruh.
You expected that to be subtle, did you?
I told you to pour these lightly for a reason, Mike. Before the review, I was like, hey, Mike, pour these light. Trust me, you don't want a ton of this because it's just such a palate blaster.
It is. Yeah, so I would say, here on the finish, the chocolate note starts to become bitter chocolate, starts to become burnt chocolate. It's fun but aggressive. I mean, it's a fairly simple sherry cast, rough distilled whiskey.
I don't know about. I mean, to me, this is kind of what we're starting to see from the American distilleries as they're moving more and more into experimenting with sherry casks, using rye whiskey and stuff like that, which is an aggressive, assertive whiskey. I would not have thought single malt whiskey here just from the initial. I mean, I smell malt, but there's just something. I don't want to say harsh because that's a little
Simplistic way of saying it.
Yeah, because it's not harsh like up front. It's harsh in the finish because it's just got such a bold spiciness.
It's strong. It's got a strong backbone to it for sure.
But the initial up front approach of this is very sophisticated, refined, 30-year-old whiskey. Like the finish is, I don't have a whiskey I can compare this to, Mike. I've never had anything at all that had that kind of rich, oily maltiness up front and then had that kind of rye, spicy, brutal punch to your tongue kind of finish.
It's a spirit made for a much hardier group of men than this.
I gotta say, though, water on the nose, Mike, it is nosing more and more like a sherry finished
Chocolate caramel,
but rye whiskey. Like,
yeah, that mint is a nice add-on. You got a little bit of smoke too, so you don't know. You got a little bit of that mint playing with the smoke, playing with a little bit of oak wisp.
I'm not getting the vegetal note now on the nose at all.
You're right, I'm not either. Yeah,
I'm really enjoying the note here, but it's like the most refined, sophisticated rye whiskey I've ever nosed, which isn't saying a whole lot because it's been over 20 years since I had a 20-year-old rye.
it's like getting slapped in the face with leather gloves. Like maybe he didn't hit you with his hands, but that had no respect on it whatsoever.
Yeah, aged leather gloves. Like they've been sitting in an antique store. That's there for sure. There is some leather here now that you've said that, Mike. But it's
exactly what I said. But
I know, but now that you've said that note, I'm getting it. But it's an aged leather. It's not like a nice, you went to the little leather store, you just got a new car. It's nothing like that. It's aged leather that's been sitting in an antique store.
I feel like this is a whiskey I can't show it weakness or back down to it on any level, or it'll take advantage of me. You ever see the movie The Duelist? Great movie. Anyway, point is,
No.
the Carradine brothers and Harvey Keitel, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And there's this one note in it where he was just like, he wanted to fight him. He's like, why do you want to fight me? He's like, you're being an idiot. I'm arresting you because you want to fight, and now you want to fight me? Like, duel me, hence the duelist.
Okay.
He's like, you're an ape or something.
I was
like
expecting
that.
duality of man or something to come in here.
No. So he's like, you're an ape. You know what I'm saying? So they were back and forth with it. He was like, you're going to fight me. He's like, I'm not going to fight you. You're an idiot. He's like, you're going to make me chase you. And that's when he knew, like, okay, I'm done with this guy's bullshit. And he said, you will chase me nowhere. And I feel like you have to have this attitude with this whiskey. You got to meet it head on.
I mean, it's a beast. This is one of the most assertive, aggressive single malt whiskeys I've ever had at this age, or 10 years younger.
Yeah, it's quite a bit more, so much punchier than I assumed when I read the age statement. Mm-hmm. All right, Dustin.
I really like what water did on the mouth as well, Mike. It actually didn't lose any mouthfeel.
All right, I'm telling the story, so you know what that means. It's whiskey score time.
Yep.
All right, I am at an 87 out of 100 on this. I went back and forth. There are things I like, things I don't like. I've already detailed them in triplicate, I believe, on this whiskey review, so I'll just leave it at 87. Where are you at? You hadn't given this any thought, have you?
I don't know. I have.
Doesn't seem like it.
I wanted to set the story here because there's a little complexity to this score.
Okay.
This has elements of 90 plus whiskey. It has elements of 85 whiskey. So I have to kind of think of how to put all that together. And for me, it's the cool factor, the wow factor, because well, whether you like it or not, this is wow.
So you're going 88.
Well, even 89 actually.
Oh, you changed that just because I said that.
No, even 89, and also because I'm giving it a point for the cool factor of this is a piece of history that will never exist again. And that to me just, I'm sorry, I'm giving it a point for that, and it deserves it.
What do you mean it's 87? All right, so anyway, those are our thoughts on the whiskey. If you guys had a chance to try this one, let us know what you guys think. Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Smash some whiskey.
See you next time.